It's Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026, and the United States will be going under a chain reaction of severe weather this week. A slight risk of severe weather has been issued by the Storm Prediction Center, which will bring the threat of damaging winds, large hail, and significant flooding as we move on through tomorrow. This is now a Day 2 outlook, but it was a rare Day 6 outlook just 4 days ago, showing strong confidence in this storm. The Storm Prediction Center has also issued a Day 3 and Day 4 outlook, and these will bring the threats of tornadoes rather than the one for tomorrow. There's also a winter storm that has begun to coat the Northeast in ice, happening as we speak. So in today's forecast, I will break down everything that you need to know about these storms that will be hitting the United States. And we do actually have a severe weather outlook for today. This is for Tuesday, March 3rd, which is today. And it is just a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk, bringing some moderate to heavy thunderstorms, no tornado threat today. Like I said, there is no tornado outlook for today, but there is a hail outlook indicating a chance for some golf ball sized hail out of this system as we move on through the day. Now, what I really wanted to highlight was tomorrow's severe weather outlook, as we have a level 2 out of 5 slight risk, bringing with it a tornado threat, but this will not be our main concern, however, as our main concern for tornadoes will be in the next 2 to 3 day range. And tomorrow we do have a chance of some severe winds. Actually, this could bring probably up to 50 to 70 mile per hour winds, along with some isolated thunderstorms as we move throughout tomorrow. There is also a threat of some potentially tennis ball sized hail out of this system as well, so there will be lots of threats throughout tomorrow. However, tornado threat will not be the biggest concern. Now here is our Day 3 severe weather outlook. We do not have a tornado outlook yet, or a severe wind or severe hail outlook. However, there is a level 2 out of 5 slight risk and a hatched 15 to 29% severe weather outlook probabilistic for Thursday, March 5th, which is our Day 3 outlook. There also is a concern of some pretty significant storms, level 2 out of 2 probability of severe weather as we move through Friday, March 6th. There's a threat of some critical fire conditions as we move throughout Thursday, so make sure you are watching all the fires and stuff if you are in this area, and be prepared to evacuate if you have to. Now I do want to go ahead and take a look at our ice accumulation. This is our total ice accumulation here by the HRRR model. This is our 10Z, which is our latest run, and this will show all of the ice that we could be seeing like coating the Northeast today and tomorrow. And as you can see, there will be a pretty significant amount of ice all over Pennsylvania as we move through March 3rd and as we move through the day and into March 4th. And then taking a look at the NAM model here, which goes just a little bit further out. This is what it will be looking like as we move through March 4th. There will still be a decent amount of ice accumulating, sort of just building up on all of the ice that we have already seen. Forming lots of ice all up in the Northeast, including some bigger cities like Boston, Massachusetts, will be pretty coated in ice, honestly. So if you're out here traveling up in the Northeast, this will cause some travel threats. So beware of the roads. Beware, like, the roads are going to be slick, so make sure you are driving safe if you're out there up in the Northeast. Now I do want to go ahead and take a look at our precipitation type, otherwise known as our simulated radar. Starting off right now, we've got some sleet, freezing rain mix just up there in the Washington areas, as well as some pretty heavy snow back just north of Salt Lake City. This will be moving through Cheyenne in let's see here, Wyoming, and moving through Denver, Colorado, bringing some light snow as we move throughout the day. And we will have this system continuing to move up the northeastern coast, causing some pretty significant freezing rain, sleet, sort of ice to accumulate on the ground. On the colder side of things, there will be some snow. On the warmer side of things, there will be the freezing rain and actual rain there. Some heavy rain over there in the Cincinnati, Ohio areas, including parts of West Virginia, as we move throughout the day. And as we move on to March 4th, we will be able to see our severe weather system sort of start to fire up here, up in the mid-plains. It does not look too severe on this outlook here, but keep in mind, or on this radar here, but keep in mind this will be bringing a threat for damaging winds and large hail rather than a significant tornado threat, so it does not have to look too cool or too significant on radar. As we move through March 5th, there will be some pretty significant snow up here in the northwest, bringing some moderate to light snowfall, as well as some heavy rain moving off through the northeastern coast. Sort of just trying to melt all the snow that has been there, but there will be some the rain on the warmer side of things with some snow, sleet, freezing rain mix on the colder side of things. Low pressure system is moving some rain as well as some snow and a pretty significant storm system as we move through Friday, March 6th. Keep in mind we will be doing live coverage whenever this occurs on March 6th into March 7th. So it will be Friday night on into Saturday morning hours. We will be doing live commercial-free coverage, providing live coverage, getting out the active warnings whenever there is a first tornado warning occurring. So yeah, just be aware of that. Make sure to go ahead and leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share this video with your friends and family to help spread weather awareness and get the word out about these storm systems. There will also be another pretty significant storm system bringing heavy snow, as well as some pretty significant freezing rain and sleet as we move through Friday, March 6th. About the sort of noon to afternoon hours, even into early evening, it will be moving through areas like Maine, as well as some pretty significant rain as we move on into Saturday, causing some moderate heavy thunderstorms, potentially bringing a little bit of a tornado threat. However, that will not be our main concern as this moves through the southeast. As well as some sort of more chance of some moderate to heavy storms as we move through March 8th. And so yeah, these will all be things to keep an eye on over the next few days, and we will be updating you, posting a new video whenever you need to be updated on something. So like I said, if you don't mind, go ahead and leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the post notifications bell so that you're updated whenever we post a new video. And now I want to go and take a look at our dew point here, as our dew point is sort of what just provides moisture for these storms and lets them produce stronger tornadoes and stronger storm systems. Like, for those of you who don't know, moisture is a key ingredient to some significant storm systems. As we move through tomorrow, there will be lots of moisture being sucked up from the Gulf Coast, as this is meeting the cold, dry air from Canada. There's warm, moist air coming in from the Gulf Coast, and this will be causing a clash between a warm air mass and colder air mass, and that is sort of what forms all of our storm systems. Couldn't tell you all the science behind that. I just know that colder air clashes with warmer air and makes some storms. So yeah, there will be a decent amount of moisture as we move through March 4th, and as we move into March 6th, this is what things will be looking like. Decent amount of moisture ranging all the way from parts of like New Orleans and Houston, moving through Dallas, Oklahoma City, St. Louis, Memphis, Jackson, Mississippi, even through parts like Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, through parts of potentially even Knoxville, Tennessee, all the way up to Cincinnati, Ohio, Indianapolis, Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky, and all of those bigger cities in the United States. And we'll be providing lots of moisture for this storm system as we move through March 7th. Now I want to go ahead and take a look at our low pressure systems and high pressure systems as we move throughout the few days on these storm systems, causing this chain reaction. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of high pressure systems over the United States right now, pretty much keeping everything dry. And there's a little bit of a low pressure system that will move through parts of Oregon, which won't bring too much of a threat, this will sort of bring our threat of severe weather in the central plains as a low pressure system with a warmer pressure system. But this is not like the ideal low pressure system that you want to see to form a significant system. You want a sort of organized system here, and as it moves down to the south, it gets way more organized, moving through Phoenix, as we will have a high pressure system just off of the coast, as well as a low pressure system just moving on into the coast. And then as this will clash with this higher pressure system, this will sort of form what we are going to see on Friday, which will bring the threat of tornadoes. And that's why we were talking about the one that will occur tomorrow will not bring a big tornado threat, as it is not an organized storm system. However, the one on Friday will be a pretty significantly organized system, which will allow for this one to be a more tornado producing storm. Now, I do want to go ahead and take a look at two more things here, including our storm relative helicity, which is basically just wind shear, and our CAPE. For those who don't know what CAPE is, CAPE stands for convective available potential energy. It's sort of just like a energy producer for tornadoes. Bulk shear is what allows the storm systems to spin and then create the tornadoes, so you cannot really have a tornado without any storm relative helicity, but you can have a tornado without CAPE. It just won't be a most significant system. There will be a decent amount of storm relative helicity as we move through the next few days. I'm going to start calling it SRH for shorter. For those of you who just know, I'm not changing like systems here, but there will be a decent amount of SRH as we move through the day tomorrow. But there won't be as significant as a threat as the one that we're going to see on Friday, as tomorrow will not be a tornadic activity producing storm. There's a chance for a little bit of a light to spin up tornado, but nothing too crazy as we move through tomorrow. And as we move on into late night hours on Thursday, this is what things will be looking like. Moving on into Friday, there will be a decent amount of SRH, and this will sort of continue to last throughout the night on into Saturday. And Saturday morning will be also another threat for parts of Texas, as we will have a pretty good amount of SRH. And finally, last but not least, the last thing I want to look at today is our surface-based CAPE. This is what will sort of provide as convective available potential energy, as CAPE stands for convective available potential energy. And there will be a decent amount of CAPE as we move on into March 4th time frame, but that will not be our big enough threat. There will be about, let's see here, that's a sounding, my fault, hold up, let me switch it back over here. There will be about 1,308 joules per kilogram. Sorry about that. And that is enough to produce a spin-up tornado, but won't be as like significant tornado that we could see on, like, for example, like the 2011 tornado outbreak or anything like that. Just a potential like maybe EF0 to EF1 tornado. Baby spin-up tornadoes are possible tomorrow. But as we move through March 5th and March 6th, there will be a decent amount of CAPE sort of moving up from Houston, moving up through Oklahoma City. And in Oklahoma City, there will be about 1,746 joules per kilogram, which is definitely enough to produce a decently strong tornado. And this will only continue to stay the same and strengthen a little bit as we move on into Saturday. And there will be a decent amount of CAPE down there just south of Houston, but won't be anything too crazy as we move throughout the next few days. This won't be like a tornado outbreak. This will be a tornado threat, but this won't be a tornado outbreak. And why I'm saying this is a chain reaction is because these storms are setting off one another, because there was one storm that's going to move through. This storm will set off the environment and sort of allow the atmosphere to be more favorable for more storm systems. This is how we know that we are moving into tornado season, guys. It is officially meteorological spring, as we have now moved into March. But yeah, that was all we had to look at for today. I want to go ahead and appreciate everybody who has tuned in. If you haven't already, make sure to go ahead and like and subscribe. Share this stream with friends, or share this video with friends and family to help spread weather awareness and get the word out to others. Liking and subscribing also helps get the word out to more people, as YouTube sends it out to more and more people to help get the word out. I hope y'all got something out of this, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.